You're listening to Pre-Market Prep. I'm Brianna Valesky in for Joel Elconin, along with my co-host Dennis Dick. We're joined by Paul LaMonica. He's a digital correspondent at CNNMoney. Paul, thanks for joining us on this Monday
Thank
morning.
you.
So let's take a quick look at the broader market. What's your take right now where everyone's looking forward to the Fed this week? We're kind of at the
Yeah,
end of earnings
exactly. I
season.
think we could have some quiet days, for the next start of the early start of this week until we finally get that quote unquote most important Fed meeting ever out of the way on Thursday. You can
Do you
start.
think they raise interest
No
rates, Paul?
sarcasm.
Paul,
Uh,
do you think they raise?
I
Where are you leaning?
I don't think they do. Unfortunately, I think they should, but I don't think they will.
I've been in the camp that they weren't going to raise at all this year, but I'm almost swayed here right now. Like the markets have come back here, and I think they want to
Yeah.
prove the naysayers wrong here, and I think that they could raise. So I'm kind of being swayed, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I'm actually being swayed that I think they actually might raise interest rates. But
We'll see. I mean, I think that you can make a very strong case that now is the time. My colleague Heather Long actually wrote a great piece over the weekend about why the Fed really should just rip the Band-Aid off. So I think this is the right time to do it.
do you think the market, let's just say hypothetically that they do raise, do you think the market could actually rally on that just because they are ripping the Band-Aid off?
It's so hard to. I really have no clue how the market will interpret the inevitable rate hike. There's a part of me that thinks that you have more panic and concern about the Fed going against the grain. The rest of the world, their central banks are mostly in easing mode, at least the major ones. But at the same time, I think you also make a great point that this has caused so much volatility and so much uncertainty. People are just sitting on their hands and debating, how silly it is. That oh no, when are they going to finally raise rates by an eighth of a point or a quarter of a point? As if that's really going to send the U.S. economy into paralysis. Maybe the market does rally because you finally get it out of the way. And I think Janet Yellen, to her credit, has done a great job of signaling that they're not going to go on one of these typical rate hiking sort of journeys the way past Feds have. This doesn't mean that, okay, well, if they raise rates in September, they're going to do it in October and again in December and every meeting in 2016. We're not going to have prohibitively high interest rates at any time soon.
Let's move on to some individual stocks here. In the cover story of Barrons, Alibaba, and why it could fall 50%. Did you get a chance to take a look at that? And
I
what are your
have. I'm
thoughts
going
here
to be
on?
writing about that today. It's really fascinating that Alibaba felt so slighted that they chose to issue this full-blown rebuttal.
Right?
I
Yeah.
think a lot of people have written negative stories about Alibaba, and I have as well. And no one has gotten any sort of response like this until now. I mean, I think clearly Alibaba has to be very sensitive with the stock below the IPO price. There are many people who think that the valuation was stretched to begin with. But trying to go through the piece from Barron's to see if I agree with Alibaba that there are major factual issues here. I mean, I do think that the reporter is correct to point out that valuation is a concern for a company that is in a country where people are worried about what's going to happen to their broader economy and consumer spending. There is increased competition. I think it's fair to say that Alibaba could be pressured. Maybe it's overstating it to say it falls another 50% from the mid 60s level, but that the market is going to decide, not Barron's and not Alibaba.
Do you think Alibaba's just a little bit too concerned about their share price? Like, why even bother to? Like, I almost lose respect for the company that they have to come out and they do this rebuttal of it. It's like they're concerned about their share price. They should be concerned about running their company.
Exactly. I think that's a fantastic point. Many companies have seen their stock price fall, and I think it's one thing when you're talking about, say, if you feel that there are short sellers. They're having some companies that have gone on the warpath against short sellers because they do feel that that there are people that are manipulating the stock price lower. I don't think in any case here that Barron's, their author, the writer of that story, is calling it the way he sees it. And I think, if he, based on his reporting, feels that Alibaba may be overvalued, he's writing it because that's what he's paid to do. He's not by any means, trying to push Alibaba lower. We all have a job to do in the financial media, and sometimes we write about stocks we think are going to go higher, and sometimes we write about stocks going to be lower. And just because he's saying it doesn't mean it's going to happen. He doesn't have to be right. Alibaba should, I think, just let the market figure this one out. And, I think they're just hypersensitive because the stock price has plunged.
Also, Barron's writing about Apple over the weekend, saying the Apple's new iPhone plan could lift shares about 50%, talking about why a move to lease phones and offer annual upgrades could prove lucrative for Apple and how it could put the company in competition with wireless carriers. What do you think about that, Paul?
I think that's pretty compelling as well. I mean, I think Apple, regardless of what you think of, the new iPhone, it seems clear that that is a company that is woefully probably undervalued right now, especially when you look at all the cash it has and the dominant market position. I do think that by doing this new program that this does make them a little bit more competitive. Against not just their true rivals like a Samsung, but also against the carriers in that respect. I mean, it's going to be a delicate balance for them to walk, as they don't want to alienate their partners like Verizon, AT&T, all that much. But I think Apple is a stock that we're going to find out in a few minutes. I think what the iPhone 6s pre-order numbers look like. This is a company that I think was one that was probably way oversold earlier this summer, August 24th, when the Dow plunged 1,000 points.
Do you think that Apple is too dependent on the iPhone here? I mean, over half of their sales come from this. Do they need another product to really take them to the next level?
Well, I mean, I guess to define what the next level is. The next level, a
New
$1 trillion
highs.
market cap, or you're already the world's most valuable company. It's kind of like saying, what is Tom Brady to do to get to the next level? He's won 4 Super Bowls. I think that Apple definitely needs a new product to stay on top. We've seen how fickle, the market can be with regards to tech stocks. But Apple is dependent on a product that is generating a huge amount of profit and cash for them. So I think that it's a weird question to have to answer. I mean, obviously it would be better for Apple if they had some other products that really took off. Maybe it's the Apple Watch. Maybe it's something completely new if they do wind up doing a car or something like that. But right now, the iPhone is not exactly a problem for them. Even though they're depending on it, it's a nice thing to be able to depend on because it's so strong.
What about some of the fallen darlings in the market right now? What are your thoughts on GoPro?
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at that later today. I mean, GoPro is a stunning fall. I think that's a classic example of a company like Alibaba that there was probably way too much hype when they went public. The valuation got a little out of hand. But when you look at GoPro now, I mean, this is still a company that's selling a lot of those hero cameras. People really, really love them. I mean, this is definitely a company that has a lot of diehard fans, and you can never underestimate the ability of a cult stock or a cult company to bounce back. And I think the thing with GoPro now that seems interesting is that finally, after losing half of its value, it's trading at a pretty attractive multiple right now. It looks like it's about just under 16 times 2016 earnings estimates, and it's still growing very rapidly. So maybe GoPro has been a little oversold, but we just have to see. I mean, GoPro, Fitbit, Umbrella, kind of tied with GoPro, Shake Shack. I mean, these are all companies that were really loved. Recent IPOs in many cases that fall to earth.
What do you think about Shake Shack? You just mentioned that, and obviously this one has fallen way off too. It had a decent day on Friday, finally catching a bid and really popping here. And that's what can happen sometimes. These stocks, as they get out of favor here, sometimes they do get oversold, and eventually they can have those wicked short covering spikes there, which we probably saw on Shack on Friday. I almost wonder if GoPro could do the same thing. But let's talk Shack. What are your thoughts there?
I continue to be mystified by that one. I mean, it is a really they sell a tasty burger. It's kind of use the Pulp Fiction line.
It's a tasty burger.
Yes. I need a beverage to wash that down with. It is a classic, I think, case of a company that people are enamored with the story and the potential growth, and it's very easy to say, oh, it could be the next Chipotle because it's another fast casual or whatever you want to call it type dining place. I just don't see how you justify the valuation at these levels. I mean, yes, they're growing same shack sales, to use their jargon, pretty strong. But I think they just need so much more expansion to kind of grow in to this market valuation right now. So I don't believe that they're the next Chipotle. I mean, when you think about Chipotle, I mean, Chipotle was in a market that was not really all that saturated. I mean, I don't think Chipotle and Taco Bell are all that similar of a company. Chipotle really kind of found a niche market that it was able to just create and dominate. At Shake Shack, there are so many other, not just McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King, there are so many other quote-unquote gourmet, higher-priced, higher-quality burger joints out there around the country that, what is the reason why Shake Shack deserves this valuation when you've got competition from Five Guys and so many other, national and regional burger joints.
Well, Five Guys is a good burger there too.
Yeah.
Thoughts here, Paul. So, what other fallen darlings here are you looking at right now?
I mean, those are the major ones. I'd have to take a quick look at the screen to see what else.
What about like a Mobileye?
You could call Netflix. I mean, Netflix,
Okay,
Mobileye, I think is definitely one. That has, taken a pretty big drop. People worried about, what's going on in the self-driving car market. It looks like it's, it also had a decent rally on Friday and is up pre-market today. That's one I think that, you keep an eye on what Tesla is doing, and I think, in many respects, Tesla and Mobileye are probably going to trade maybe in tandem. And Tesla's
about
not
Tesla
that far
here?
from its
Because
all-time high anymore.
Tesla's a stock that obviously was hugely in favor last year, and then obviously came off there towards the end of and the beginning of this year, caught a bit again, and now it's come back off here again. What are your thoughts on Tesla? I mean, a valuation an issue here as well?
Yeah, Tesla's definitely one that valuation has to be a concern, but I think they are proving to Wall Street that there's progress with not just the Model X, which is coming out very soon, but the Model 3, what's going on with the Gigafactory. I mean, the home and small business storage, that remains to be seen. How much revenue that can generate for the company, but I think it's been fascinating that Tesla has bounced back at a time when oil prices and gas prices remain so low. I mean, it was telling last year that Tesla really started to sell off along with oil and gas. I think people were wondering, is an electric car no longer an attractive prospect for the average consumer if you can get gas prices this cheap? And a lot of people think gas prices will remain cheap for the foreseeable future, but I think a lot of people love the Tesla product and want to get a chance at driving one and not having to spend a proverbial arm and a leg like you will with the S and the X right now.
We've been on the line with Paul LaMonica. He's a digital correspondent at CNNMoney. Paul, thank you so much for joining us today. You know that we're going to
Always
have to
enjoy it.
have you
Thank
on
you.
again soon.
Thank you.